welcome back. Rico Money Bags, the channel helping you invest in yourself so we can invest in the future. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure the bell notification stays lit. You guys do not want to miss out. Today's a perfect example of keeping the bell notification lit. As you guys can see, we're going to have some special guests up to me, a very, very special guest. That is Blunt House. We're going to go over his details as well because we're going to be doing a giveaway, not just some BNB giveaway, because I want you guys to get in for this 5K giveaway, and it's going to take some BNB for you guys to get in. So I do want to do a BNB giveaway for those who are interested into possibly participating in this 5K giveaway, or you guys can use that BNB for whatever you like. But something very unique, we never done this before, where we're going to be giving away the Blunt House TA for 30 days, where you guys can actually go ahead and check this out. I'm actually going to grab this link right now. You guys could probably check it out right now, but I want you guys, if you guys can, if you guys are rocking with me, as I know you guys are, let's get this stream as lit as we can, as many numbers, because you know this is kind of that rip the band-aid off situation. Like, let's just look at the markets, let's call it for what it is, and make sure that we have a clear understanding of what's going on with BTC. So let me go ahead and share my screen really quick and get this started, fam. Man, welcome, man. I see the XPX fan pulling up right away. I mean, lately the XPX community has been getting so much credit. Honestly, the XPX community is like, either they're the most diamond hands, or you know, they're pulling up in every space. We've been having a good time, and you know, even though the market has been pulling back, we've been very active with this giveaway, and the community's been, you know, obviously thriving like always. That's just something you can count on with the XPX community. So we'll start off right here before we bring Blunt House up. I know a lot of you guys are excited for that. I see the room filling up already. Let's make sure we're live on all these other social media accounts. We're live on YouTube. We're live on X. We're live on X twice, plus YouTube, which is super fun because we want max engagement and max exposure on all the things we're talking about, keeping everybody on the same page. Just like right now with this $3.77 trillion market cap, we know when we break underneath that 4 trillion, it's not as euphoric, right? It doesn't feel as fun as before. What's interesting is that we're at prices that we wish we would have been at, right? We're still above, you know, BTC 110. You know, we still got Ethereum over 4K. And, you know, a while back, we would have wished for these prices. We were underneath 110. We were underneath $4,000. We were underneath $1,000 on BNB. You know, except Solana. Solana was doing a little bit better. But for the most part, a lot of these you know, cryptocurrencies were already underneath these prices that we wish they were at now. Now we're at these prices, obviously from a crazy wipeout, but there's still some bullish news coming out, right? There's some bearish news and people are not feeling too good, and there's some bullish news with BNB, but nonetheless, these prices right here are all prices that we wish we would have had before. This is kind of that case of that prior resistance, future support game that we see quite a bit when it comes to BTC and whatnot like that. So we got Blunt House, okay, in the chat as well. That's working overtime on the overtime. That's what a winner looks like right there. We got Delatoshi in the house. Yes, get everybody up in here as well, man. We're going to be talking about BTC. I see the stream filling up. Yes, get in here. We're going to be doing some giveaways. I know you guys love. We've been doing giveaways back to back, even when the market's red. We've just been still just giving it away. We're either going to do some giveaways for BYD-Fi. If you sign up, we'll send you some bonuses over there. If you want some BNB to get into the 5K giveaway, we'll give you some BNB there. If you want to get the free Blunt House indicator for 30 days, we're doing it here. Giveaway after giveaway after giveaway. So make sure you guys always tune in. But right here we got BTC doing kind of that, like, you know, these prices, we wanted to get above this before, right? We were breaking up here, trying to get up there again, you know, in the same little section. So you can see where we had all these red arrows placed, right? Kind of in this section of around that 110, you know, that trying to get there. Again, we wicked all the way down here, trying to get up there again. And when we broke out, it was bullish, right? We were above that 110, all this pumping going on. The market's super hot, good news after good news. We get underneath the 50 moving average. We come right back to this section that we've actually been before. Although because this wipeout happened in one day, it feels more bearish, right? But we've actually been in the same like moment, you know, not too long ago, and then we consolidated for a while, and then we went to new all-time highs. So right now we're having quite of that same kind of moment of like, we're at 110. How much lower can we go? And that's why we got somebody very special up, Blunt House, that's going to be able to share a screen, and we're going to dive into this. We're going to have one of the pros in the space break down where can BTC go. We're going to put him on. We're going to put Blunt House on the spike. He's like, what, Rico? We're gonna put him on? No, we just, you know what? Some of the questions are like, is it over? It's just, is there no more super cycle? But it's like, what? But without any further ado, the numbers are already picking up. I like what I'm seeing. We're already at 33 people live. Let's have a triple digit stream, right? Let's have over triple digits. If not, let's have 4 digits up in here, and we'll talk about what BTC is actually going on. We'll talk about BTC, BNB, XRP. I definitely want to talk more about Aster. Is one that, you know, a lot of people are talking about. I think we should keep talking about Aster. So if these are some of the plays that you guys want to learn more about, definitely stay tuned. We'll do some meme coins and things like that towards the end of the stream. But you know what? Stream is picking up pretty fast. Let's bring up Blunt right away. Blunt House, welcome up today, man, brother. How you doing?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm doing well. Happy to be here on such a volatile day.
Very volatile, very volatile. We all, especially myself, is the more volatile it gets, the more I'm thinking about Blunt House TA. Everybody, I'm like, you know, this wipeout happened on Friday, and I want to give a shout out to Blunt. Go to his page really quick, and this will help. If you guys want to help support what we got going on over here, I'd really greatly appreciate this. Let me go to his page where you guys can give him a follow as well. 1 second, right here. Make sure you guys give this page a follow, because on Friday when that wipeout happened, you're one of the first people I was thinking about. I said, oh my God, he's not streaming till Tuesday. So if you guys want to make sure you guys like what you guys hear during the stream, you guys are like, oh my God, I see where Rico's been getting some of this alpha, where he's been getting some of this sauce. It's like he does this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And when that wipeout happened Friday, I was like, I can't believe I got to wait all the way to Tuesday to hear what Blunt has to say. But we got him here on Wednesday. You don't have to wait till Thursday now. So make sure you guys give him a follow at Blunt420. I posted that in the chat. But Blunt, man, if you want to share a screen, I'll bring my screen down and we can jump right into some of the things that you want to get into, and just kind of go into, you know, these are the same questions everybody's going to have. What's going on with Bitcoin? What's going on with XRP? And I guess we could break some of this down for everybody that's new to the channel.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let me remove this. There we go.
So, you know, this is a weekly chart of Bitcoin that we've been using in our stream for months. I think, and I'm using the monthly to start because it's going to be the least noisy, most trend-friendly look that, you know, we can get that's reasonable. And the horizontal lines that I know you're familiar with have been here for a very long time. We started connecting levels, you know, way back in, was it December and January that we started doing that, with the hope that eventually we would be able to see how relevant these levels that we create in the present are in the future. And I think we can see, I'll just blow this up a little bit, how true they've been over time, right? Just demonstrating that, you know, when we're trading and when we're looking for highs and lows, really what we're looking for are past levels, right? Of areas of past price, because current price will be attracted to past price. And that's why these things start to make sense. Now, it's not pin the tail on the donkey. We're here to get you as close as we possibly can within reason, right? It's kind of like being the weatherman. But this was an obvious top up here. And that we kind of formed from, you know, July into August. Had a little bit of a pullback and price recovers. I think the big tell, and we talk about this every, you know, a couple times a week, but these impulse candles, like this green candle, the following candle has an equal top, and then it starts to pull back. Those are often kind of reversal candles. And I think that's what we're seeing. The reason that it feels painful is because in reality, just move to a daily, this has been really a pretty significant move higher with very little retracement. You know, there was certainly one back here, but other than that, it's a pretty parabolic move, right? There's the monthly, just to put some context around it. The interesting thing on the monthly, if you like candlesticks, is you'll notice this current candle. that doji candle. I don't actually like that at the top of something. So maybe there's more going on here than meets the eye. But how do we measure trend? We measure trend using two simple tools, a 5 EMA and a T line, which is the 8 EMA. You can get those easily on any trading system. And what it tells you is how to stay in a trend. So I'll just blow this. This is a monthly chart, so it's kind of exaggerating to make a point. But our script gives us a signal back here. This would have been in April of 23. Again, monthly chart. So remember, it's spread out over a long period of time. There was obviously opportunities to enter before then, but our script gave us the safe entry there. And since then, you've had no reason to sell. Even now, with this candle, although I don't like the doji candle at the top of this big bull run on a monthly, but I mean, it's trading above the T line and above the 5 EMA, the two measures that we're using for trend. And even with this big move this month, we didn't close below the T line. Now, if we started doing that on the monthly, then I'd be a little more concerned. But what you'll notice is the divergence that you see is an indication of momentum.
Yeah.
Right. And this is still a bullish chart.
Blunt, really quick, I want to say something because you're actually on something that I love, and I think this indicator is extremely powerful. Your Blunt House indicator, and it's the monthly chart actually, because I was like, if I would have known Blunt a long time ago, and if you turn on your indicator, it was telling us to buy at $18,000 Bitcoin. I was like, why did I not know this beautiful man and be able to buy? Because if you turn on your indicator, I was zooming out, right? I've been trying to just like get this data, like just zooming out. And I was like, wow. I was like, and when I looked at BTC, although we're having this pullback and everything like that on the monthly, I was like, it still didn't print. I was like, on a monthly chart, it's still actually still looking pretty good. I was like, but if it did print a sell signal on the monthly chart, I would be kind of concerned. And, you know, we're still looking bullish. And this indicator knew a long time ago. So yeah, if, you know, when you turn it on and you can see where it told you to buy BTC, it was like, wow, that was impressive. It knew, and it never diverted you. Like, even though there was pullbacks along that monthly chart with the buy indicator on, it never printed a sell signal, even during some of those pullbacks that it had. And just, you know, even if you wanted to trade it on a monthly time frame, you could have traded it, and it would have been, you would have to, you know, be like a statue, but nonetheless, it would print for you.
It demonstrates two things. So the script itself is, you know, I call it an indicator script because essentially it's a system, right? What we do is kind of is a system. We use a handful of accessible tools with some structure and a methodology behind it. But it's doing two things. It's filtering for you. So all of these big red candles that you see on a monthly chart that would make anybody panic. Imagine what they look like on dailies and weeklies here.
Yeah,
that's pretty intense, right? So,
yeah.
But what it does though is it's telling you the macro trend was still higher, and it told you that it was a safe place to take along on the monthly way in advance before anyone was really talking about it in a meaningful way.
Yep, it sure did.
Right. And it also demonstrates that how fractal everything is. Right. So this is the longest look that we're going to use. It's probably a monthly. And what we talk about in our streams about how do we trade the T line and this 5 EMA, well, okay, as long as you're trading on the north side, you stay in the trade. We apply that to 5 and 15-minute charts, and we apply it to this monthly as well. It's the same rationale. And then we start to overlay some moving averages so that we can validate, okay, where are benches of past price? Because in the event of a pullback, that's probably where you're going to start to look. So there's the 20 MA. On a monthly chart, it's way back here at like 86,000. I'm not saying that's where it would go, but if you break this that we use as a tool of trend, if you start trending the other direction, this 20 becomes a target. Now time and price will come together. It probably won't be down there. It would be up a little higher, but that's how it would work. And you throw the 50 on for the next level down, because we know that when we break one level, price starts to look for the next on any time frame. Right? And that's why on these monthly charts, it'll be like something tragic would have to happen for it to break the T line and find its way to the 20 in a few candles. It would have to be a massive, massive sell-off of some sort.
Don't even want to see it.
Right. No, it would be twice of what we just experienced, as an example. Right. So
how's that weekly chart looking? We don't even have a sell signal on the weekly chart. It's just pretty interesting because,
I don't think so.
Yeah, and it's actually finding kind of a structural level that we've actually been at before. Yeah, we had that extreme wick down to the 50, but then the next candles that are coming out are kind of like right above where we needed to be on that structural level. That some of these supports, we, like you said, we drew a long time ago already. We already knew that this 110 was a very psychological level for the most part. Is where we kept trying to get above, and obviously once we did get above it, that's where we had a bit of momentum where it continued to that 115 and going into 120.
Yeah. So what you'll notice on this, so we talk about this in our streams as well, but you will pick up patterns that also show up in other indicators, like and all this is the T line and the 5 EMA, and I've removed the candles. Couple things I want to be able to demonstrate is it possible to trade without candles? Yeah, it is actually. And I've done it to prove it. So just to give you an idea of how strong this system is, when you're on a long-term chart like this, where there's not a lot of noise, and you get a buy signal, you could literally take it and just watch as this divergence takes place and holds as things move higher, because the divergence is telling you there's momentum in the move and the trend is still up, and it's not over until it crosses and changes the other way. So you can literally trade without the candles, because it's the candles that freak us out.
It is,
right? Because every new trader, even experienced traders, they do get freaked out. And look, I get it. Like, this is a weekly chart too, so this would be a big sell-off. This obviously is a big sell-off, but at the end of the day, when you remove the things that make us anxious, all of a sudden the anxiety level goes down. As long as I have divergence here and I'm trending in that upward direction to the right, you can stay in the trade and you're okay. What is interesting is that you have this double toppy kind of pattern on these short-term indicators, and I don't like that. Shows up here too. And what is that? That's just a representation of price moving higher and these short-term averages picking that up. The sell-off, price bouncing, getting to that equal previous top or close to it, and then price sells off again. Quite often that's psychological. People going, oh man, I should have sold when I had the chance. Now I'm going to do it. So they do, and it drops price. But, it's not, we're trading a little bit below the 20. We're not far from printing a sell signal here. And then you start looking for the 50. If you break one level, you'll find the next. And look at that wick. That wick is just sitting there going, nah, 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 nah. Right? just waiting to be tagged again.
Yeah.
And it's at a level of past price.
Yeah, something that I love, like I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, because I think this is like the time frame that it happens quite a bit. Like the ebb and flow of Bitcoin is somewhat on this 4-hour chart quite a bit. Like, the ranges that we're actually seeing from day to day is somewhat within the range of this 4-hour time frame. And what I love is because it is so fractal, you see, like even on this 4-hour chart right now, it's the case of the first mouse got to squeeze and the second one is going to cheese, right? Because you have this first initial flush, it's starting to go back up. You know, if somebody shorted it, you're having this example of like, oh my God, I'm gonna start giving my profit away. But really, you print another sell signal, and now it's coming right back down. You know, it's coming right back down to that lower valley range, and I think in the 4-hour chart, you can see this happen a little bit more frequently because, you know, let's just face it, it's giving you more data because, you know, more candles are being printed. But even right here, we're seeing a perfect example of like, you know, we're underneath this, you know, 50 moving average. We're trading towards the point of control. You know, we have this downward pressure and a perfect example, even without the candles. Like I'm just looking at it without candles for fun right now.
Mhm.
And again, you see the first mouse gets to squeeze, second one getting the cheese. And we talked about this the other day, and here goes a perfect example where we can continue to show this, where you still have to wait to get above these moving averages to really start to feel bullish. Like, you know, while it's underneath this moving averages on the south side of these things, you should be a little bit more on the bearish type of mentality because you'll see more bearish things happen than bullish things when it's on the south side of these moving averages.
We always talk about how the trend is our friend, right?
Right.
And excuse me, every trader I know likes to say that. So let's just use this as an example to the left here.
Okay.
So you know, you have this impulse down. Here's your first attempt rather at the 20, and you end up failing. Now, if you took this sell signal short, and remember, this is a 4-hour chart, so this little candle is going to feel like paint's drying, and you're having to watch it. You're sitting on the 50. You're like, maybe it's going to bounce. You might wash it, right? You have to learn to trust the chart. I know it's really hard to do, and sometimes, you know, I find myself having that, you know, internal battle. But if you're to take this signal and then just be patient, right? The market's telling you something here. You don't know what, because this is all you see on your chart. Essentially, we can't see past the current candle we're working on. So that's all you see. You take the sell signal, little doji doesn't break the 50, then you see this. That might scare you because it looks like you're bouncing, but you don't have a sell signal. So what's more important, that one single 4-hour candle or the overall trend?
The trend.
The trend, unless you're leveraged to the hilt and you know, you can't afford a wink of a move upward, right? Because you'll wash yourself out. So assuming that we're not in that situation, the trend is obviously more important. So it might feel, you know, entering there and then seeing this, you might question yourself. But if you trust the trend, right, you can see the divergence, something's going on, is all that's happening is that you're just in early. Oh, there's a nice red candle. That makes you happy. And then the bottom falls out. Does that make this slow gain that turns into an accelerated gain worth it? Sure. Right? Why do we do this? Why do we learn technicals? We do this so that we can get this type of entry, right? So that we can refine our methodology over time to monetize the chart, because that's our only job.
Yeah.
Right? That's our only job. And was this 4-hour signal a heads up to what was going to come on the daily? Yep.
It sure was. This little instance right here is super important because I almost feel like, especially somebody who's been, you know, I'm trading quite a bit and I'm seeing it quite often. It's like you almost got to be able to handle this little part that we're talking about, because it's going to happen to you quite a bit where you have to be, you're going to get tested where it does almost like this false snapback, and it's just trying to get some people who thinking it's going to break back long. But if you guys look, it's trading against a moving average, and that's that case where like the first flush down and it's going to pretend to go back up to trick a bunch. It's almost like a little bull trap, right? And if you don't fall for that bull trap and you're already in that short, and you can just let that, you know, that little moment happen, that signal comes right back and it'll flush right through, you know, the next moving average and house to find the next. That's where those runners actually come. But I noticed like all my runners came with a little test where I just had to literally be like, don't you touch the mouse. It is going down, you know. It's like, God.
Yeah. This is this 4-hour chart where you have this kind of a toppy level here. You can see its price is obviously hitting its head on something. And you'll see this quite frequently on any of your time frames. Price is always hitting something. And in this case, it's the 200 MA on the 4-hour. So the 200 MA is the most basic bull bear indicator that we have.
Mm-hmm.
First attempt fails. Doesn't really fail hard, but it does pull back, takes a second attempt. And we talk about those 2 equal tops. So you got those 2 equal tops after a second attempt that's failing at the 200 MA on a 4-hour chart, which we're using to get a good entry on a daily. This is when you start to overlay all the things you learn over time doing this. These are the things you'll pick up. Equal tops at resistance. You know, you don't want to be longing into resistance. This is why, right? Yeah. This is why. And I can guarantee you that because most people are looking at the 5-minute chart, they're not seeing it. They're not seeing the 4-hour resistance, which is a big deal.
Right? Let me blunt really quick, because this is something this is why I like these streams, because I can hold myself accountable, and I want to speak for maybe people who are afraid to speak up on their mistakes. Like if you're listening to this and you guys, it almost happens because you think you're trying to front run that thing. Don't do that. Okay, just wait for that trend to like. I know the feeling, okay, because I've been there where, you know, you're thinking like this things, but if you're longing into resistance, it's like swimming against the current. You don't want to get beat up in that trend like that. Now you're fighting against yourself in your head, plus you're fighting against yourself in the chart. Like just give yourself that opportunity to actually wait to be above these on the north side on of these moving averages, like but doing this for you guys, like put your hands together, like please just get, because I know the feeling. You want to get there. It seems like it's finding that support. It's like that's not always the case. You're better off paying the insurance, right? This is where this little phrase that I like is like, yeah, you could have got in sooner because, you know, now you know that it pumped up from there, but you never know if it's going to be that time underneath that long into that resistance, if it's going to be the one that breaks through. It could fail 20 times before it's that one that actually breaks through the resistance. You don't want to lose 20 times in a row just because you might catch one that actually breaks through the resistance and it's a runner. You're better off waiting for the ones that break through the resistance, show you that the trend is above this moving average so that it's a bullish trend. That's that insurance that you're paying to make sure that you're in a winning trade. So
no, 100%. And you know, I know that sometimes many of you are working off of short time frames, which if that's what you want to do, that's great. But you can't do it in isolation of those larger time frames. So you always want to know what's going on the daily chart, because price will want to move. Let's say you're looking at a daily chart and price has started to move higher, and above you is the 50 MA. Well, then that's going to be a target on that daily chart that you're heading up, where price, the next level would be the 50 MA. So you want to know what that level is, because on the shorter time frames, you want to be able to identify that as you work your way towards ultimately where you think price is going. The only time that's going to be a problem for you is if you're using too much leverage. Now, this is a 5-minute Bitcoin chart. If you're using so much leverage that you can't allow price to move with some reasonable movement, then you're using too much juice. You shouldn't have to get stopped out or liquidated as in a trend move. And I know a lot of you are, and that's not necessary, right? There's the same move with Heikin-Ashis on, just to clean up some of the noise, which the Heikin-Ashi candles do. But as all I'm trying to demonstrate is that no matter the time frame you're working off, we were showing you monthlies in 4 hours. This is a 5 minute. There's your entry signal right here. And as a matter of fact, the Heikin-Ashi trading system that I use, you wait for the parabolic SAR to appear below the green candle with no wick, which this one, that's the case. That would be my entry candle, and the script actually is confirming on the same candle. So you would enter here. But if you're using too much juice and you can't allow price to move $100 or $200 in one candle, then guess what? You're using too much leverage. Simple as that.
Too much
and you're
leverage.
Washing yourself. Yeah, and you're washing yourselves out of trades that are literal runners. Right? I know the price action's been more down than anything else, like as you can see, but is all you have to do, right? Here's an example of where you get in real early with the Heikin-Ashis. Use the T line, look at the T line and the 5 EMA on that move. You don't produce a buy signal until here.
Mm-hmm. Break a trend, break a structure. Yeah, it was like a straight downtrend forever. Yeah.
So for those of you that are trading these short time frames, which I think we all do for a little bit of fun or whatever, I get it. But you shouldn't be getting stopped out in a trend move because you're using so much leverage that you can't absorb an appropriate move in price. It's the trend that is your friend. But if you're using so much juice that you're stopping yourself out on every little move up or down, you'll never be able to monetize the big run. And that's why if you don't catch runners and you're using leverage 9 times out of 10, I bet you it's because it's too much.
Blunt, let me jump into something that you talk about so much really quick, because we're right on it, right? We've all played around with the shorter time frames, and if you guys are listening, I want you guys to absorb this part right here, this fibs, fractals, and filters. One of my favorite parts about this is the fractal part, actually. You know why? Because if you can practice to do this on a higher time frame, so your thoughts are not being overwhelmed by almost being liquidated or using too much leverage, too much juice, like Blunt is he's using this new phrase today. But what I like about the understanding of this being fractal is the minute you get your momentum of doing this strategy, let's say on an hourly chart, without that pressure of like, oh my God, it's going down, and those candles on the shorter time frame, they play with your emotions so much. Practice for a whole month, like trading on a higher time frame, because if you can get that idea and that strategy to work on a higher time frame, the best thing about this thing that's called life, it's pretty fractal. You'll most likely, not saying that you should, and this none of this is financial advice. What me and Blunt's talking about is that you'll be able to see that same trend on a shorter time frame where you're like, you know what, I'm so used to the strategy, I'm so used to seeing the same pattern because it's fractal, and I have this whole month of using, let's say you're using the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily, something like that, right? You're using these 3 time frames to enter a trade, and you know what? For a whole month, you do that nonstop, so you feel confident in the strategy, because eventually that same pattern that you're seeing, connecting the dots on the 1, 4, and daily chart, you can do the same thing on like the 5, 15, and 30, or the 5, 15, and 1 hour. You can kind of connect the dots and you will see that same kind of fractal pattern that you're seeing on a higher time frame. It's harder to put that whole method together on a shorter time frame because you're just being smacked by leverage warnings. You're seeing a big red candle down, try it on a higher time frame, and you're probably a profitable trader. You just got to give yourself that opportunity to build that consistency first on a higher time frame.
Yeah, and it just this 5 minute chart, just as an example, if you're using 100x leverage on Bitcoin, and you let's say you entered here or even here, you have no, like this, any kind of pullback of a couple $100 washes you out.
Yeah.
So you're better off to lower the leverage and stay in the trade longer.
Mm-hmm.
First off, you're going to pay less in fees, and you're going to increase your overall earnings. But to what Rico was talking about, you know, if we go back to what we see on our chart right in real time, this is what we would have looked at on this 5-minute Bitcoin chart. You know, nice move down, big candle that breaks through the T line and the 5 EMA. Your 5 EMA is already shot white, so you know there's more money coming in. Here's your entry, your safe entry. And then, you know, candle by candle, you can see, okay, looks like there's a little point forming there. We've turned red. Oh no, does that mean it's the end of the world? No, we still have the divergence going our way. Even that big red candle, which would typically scare you, doesn't scare you anymore, because all you're doing is following the trend. But if you're using too much leverage, you won't be able to survive these moves, even on a 5-minute chart.
Nope.
Right? And if you take away anything today, take away the dropping of the leverage. Drop the leverage, stay in the trade longer, and you'll be far better off, and your anxiety will drop too. Three red candles. Did you change trend? Nope. Again, too much leverage. You can't withstand these. This is, you know, you don't want to be here anymore. This one, that's enough for me. Right? I don't even have to see the sell signal. It probably would have scared me already. But yeah, so you've, you know, either way, you've had a nice run. But the only way you can survive is A, you're trading spot, or B, you're using a small enough amount of leverage that allows you to withstand normal movements in price that don't break trend.
Yeah.
Right. And this signal here that we got on the 5-minute, what you're hoping to see eventually on your 15-minute time frame is that same signal on the 15-minute. Here's those 5-minute candles trapped inside here, right? There's 3 5-minute candles inside these 15 minutes. Here's your confirmation on the 15-minute chart. So you've got a 5-minute buy signal. You've already made a little bit of money. Hey, now you've got it on the 15-minute, which is that kind of confluence and validation that you need. And then from the 15, maybe you're looking to the 30-minute or the 1 hour to try and get the same thing. There's your 30-minute. We're probably going to break down at some point here. But that's what we're looking for. Is just that. And if you're trading the shorter time frames and you can get confluence on the 5, the 15, and the 30 or 1 hour, you're in real good shape. You're already ahead. The leverage that you're using is more than enough to multiply your earnings, but small enough to keep you in the trade to give you the opportunity to do that.
The chat is funny. And you know what, Blunt? This is what everybody has to hear. Yeah, I love this. This is what we need. We just broke over.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah. That's why. We just broke over triple digits, so we're over 100 viewers. I do want to have some fun with the chat. I do want to keep this momentum. I want to talk about Aster next because this is something that I've been watching. But before we do that, I do want to keep the chat pretty live. So I do want to share my screen for 1 second because I do want to do a quick giveaway of BNB. Get your Aster chart ready, and then we'll talk about Aster next because I see Aster right now where it's proving that choppy section. And I'm looking at it, waiting for it to break this 200 moving average. So maybe you'll see that as well as you're setting your chart up. But this community has been absolutely amazing. We're now 104 people live. You know, we're dropping true alpha fam. This is what we're supposed to be doing with each other. Honestly, it's not always about pump. It's like we have to be able to mitigate risk. Like over 20 billion got wiped out. If you guys are here right now, congratulations, honestly, because I saw a lot of people. I was in these whale groups because obviously, you know, in TG, there's all these back channels and all that stuff. And I talked to a lot of people that they're like, man, I've been working with this guy for over a year. I can't believe he deleted all his accounts. A lot of people left this whole market to get, they're gone. So if you guys are here and you guys are, you know, let's not take this for granted that we're still here and just be like, oh, forgot about what happened on Friday. Like this stuff right here will keep you out of some dangerous times. So I got something right here. Blunt, we play a little bit of music, so you might want to watch it on your speakers. I don't know if you got people, you know, I don't know what you guys got going on at home, but we're going to turn up for a little second, put our XPX track on. And this is, you know, just to turn up for a second, get everybody on the same page, do a little giveaway because we got the 5K giveaway, but they got to get some BNB to do this 5K giveaway. So we're going to give away some BNB right now so people can get some of these entries and just have some fun together in the market. Here we go, fam. You guys in the chat, and then that'll be really good. So starting right now, make sure you guys get it in. Start off right here with the Angel, man, of course. A little fun. Yeah. Make sure it's not too loud for you guys. If I blow your speakers, I'm sorry, but hey, let's have some fun. Appreciate you guys for pulling up. Appreciate you guys. That 5K giveaway is going to be a lot of fun. If you guys can use this BNB to do that 5K giveaway, or just say, you know what, I want to keep that BNB. BNB is going to $2,000. I'm not getting rid of that BNB for nobody. Okay, so just make sure you guys keep spamming the chat. We're going to keep adding you guys. We see Speedy in here as well. We see Summer in here as well. Don't think that I'm anybody can win. So if I'm not picking on you if I don't grab your name. It just got passed up, and the chat is fine because on my side I see all the chats. YouTube chat, I see all of them, so they're flying by. Got Prophet Bear as well. Prophet Bear is such a chat fan. Wait till you guys see what Prophet Bear. We've been working on something and an amazing. Man, so some amazing things, man. Amazing things on the background happening right now. You guys are gonna love it, and yeah, I'm bullish on it for sure. Watch this. It's gonna be a lot of fun for everybody. It's gonna be a lot of fun for everybody. Okay, so. And don't go nowhere because we'll do some more giveaways. We're going to be doing a giveaway for Blunt House's indicator that we're using. That is pure alpha, okay? That is pure alpha. I don't want you guys to miss out on that alpha. Okay, so we're going to keep this list short. I was trying to type as fast as I could. For some reason today, my fingers are just not as fast, man. I don't know what it is. Today's not one of those days where I'm typing all of them. Usually that list goes by. It's so fast, but today you guys pulled up. We're at 120 now, so you guys are spamming the chat like crazy. And they're flying by, which is a lot of fun to see. I can't even keep up with it now. You guys are fun. Oh, that is funny. I like that. Oh, that's good. Okay. That's awesome. Okay, wait a second. Let me freeze this chat. Blunt, did you just see that? Oh my God, that chat just flew by. What? Wait a second. We're going to add some more people right now because that just flew by. That was wild. I've never saw the chat do that. So hold on a second. I saw this one. He was there. I saw Crypto Priest was there too. I never saw the chat do that. That's impressive. So that's pretty cool. Man, we got Kenny from the Space Penguins in here. Man, we got a crazy giveaway. This 5K giveaway is so bullish for not just XPX, it's bullish for Smart DeFi as well. We're getting a lot of people. We got the Volta people too up in here, man. You guys know I've been bullish on you guys for years, man. Tang. Let's put Crypto Surfer.
Sammy wants in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, of course.
There he is. Yeah.
Okay, we'll add Sammy as well. Where was this one at? Oh my, you guys, I don't know how you guys did that this time on the chat, but wow. That was fun. I like that. I think you spelled it like
popular.
This. That was cool. How did you spell it? I think you spelled it like this. Crypto Surfer. Not sure if this is. All right, so let's add Sammy as well. We're gonna do another giveaway, fam. I want you guys to win no matter what. I mean, this chat just flew by. That was pretty fun to see that. Shout out to all of you guys. I saw Sharon as well. She's always here. I got to show some love to those who always show up as well. I'm trying to add some of you guys. There's a lot of new people, and you guys just stick around. We're gonna do another giveaway. I don't want nobody feeling left out. We're gonna pick you for the not like, you know, when you play kickball as a kid and you're like, oh, pick me. You're the last person on the fence. You're like, don't forget about me. I want to kick the ball. All right, let's pull this one right here. Shout out to you guys. This is gonna be for BNB. We're gonna make you guys wait just a little bit longer for that blunt house indicator. I'm gonna try to keep blunt here as long as we can. The more engaged you guys are, the louder this stream is, the more numbers we do. I'll give away more BNB. I want you guys to have BNB. Why not? I want my circle to be with winners, so I'm going to do that. So here, let's pull the first number. Shout out to you guys. Much love. I mean, we could have got more numbers, but I was kind of shocked by the chat. It kind of threw me off. Speedy for another win. Shout out to Speedy. And you know what? We'll do another one. It's like I can never just do only one. It doesn't feel right just to only do one when I set it all up. So we got Speedy is one right now. Yeah, we're going to be doing BNB for you guys. Get into that 5K giveaway. That's going to be so cool to see somebody win that. Okay, we got Profit Bear. Look at that, man. What a Chad. Oh, my God. I love this guy so much. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. So we got Profit Bear from the Jesus Coin community. Big shout out to them. We're doing a lot of cool stuff, man. Get ready for that. And we'll do one more right now. Look at that. I couldn't even just do one to make sure that you guys can get into that 5K giveaway. We'll do another one. And we still got the Blunt House Indicator giveaway, which is, I mean, crazy bullish, fam. We'll do another giveaway. This is 3 people that have the chance to get into that 5K giveaway, or just go use the BNB for something else. Dynamite. Yes. Boom. Shakalaka for Dynamite. Oh, my God. All great people that always pull up. The ball never lies. So that's pretty cool. Now, we're going to be going to Aster next, fam. I know my chart looks kind of crazy, but this 200 moving average is something I want Blunt to talk about because it's something that we kind of, you know, we say all the time it's the most bull bear indicator, right? And we do see that quite a bit where it's like, look at how much it's fighting to get above that. And this is kind of the chop, you know, and it's like, can it break above these moving averages? So I'm actually going to get my chart out of here. We're going to get as much information from Blunt as we can. Blunt, I want you to talk about Aster for us because this is one that Rico Moneybags is waiting to see if is it going to give me that trend back to the top? I'm not trading this chop, but I do want to see if I can trade that to the top, or is Aster over? Is it done?
Yeah, like that's, you know, for some context, here's the daily, you know, your big move up and then kind of prints an M, right? Big move up, creates your center channel, you bounce. Don't quite get all the way to the previous high, but you can see the pattern. The concerning thing on the daily is when it breaks this level, which it did. So being a new issue, it's a little difficult to get a good read with some reliability. So you have to shorten up your time frame somewhat. Mm-hmm. So we're just kind of switching to an hour here, but the 200-day moving average, and I always use a red as an indication of the 200, is your most basic bull bear indicator, and you can use it on any time frame. So the Heiken Ashi candles that we showed on the previous chart, part of that methodology is that you only take longs above the 200 and you only take shorts below it on any time frame that you're using. And that's because the probability of making a good long trade on the north side of the 200 is more likely, and the same in reverse, right? So it's one of the easiest things that you can kind of use on a regular basis to give yourself an indication of how prices is trading. Is it trending below certain levels? In this case, yeah, it is. And was it not acting as kind of a support and resistance level here on the hourly? It was. And, you know, you go back here to when you broke it the first time, you have very little resistance to get above it again, but this was a whole other story. Like a little dip here, you got a little, you know, you snaps back, but this is a whole other story. Mm-hmm. But people will say to you, oh, nobody saw the move coming. Doesn't matter the time frame. We could be looking at the daily chart, right? We don't know what comes after the current candle that we're working on, right? So there's your confirmation of a short. And you could have taken that, right? You can see that you've kind of have some descending price movement here as well. So you're like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a bit of a toppy look there, prior candle and the 3 beside it. You take that. You actually may have been scared out of your trade. If you weren't using this, you'd be scared out of your trade in these 3 candles. And you know you would be, because you've all done it, right? Like we all have. And then what happens? Oh no. All of a sudden, when everybody else wakes up trying to figure out what's going on in the market, you already made your money. You notice where the impulse down came? When everybody woke up?
Yeah.
Right? 8, 9 a.m. Right? But when did the move really happen? It happened out here at like 10. You know? So just follow the chart. You didn't know. After these 3 candles, notice what didn't happen. The trend did not change. So, impulse down, made my money. Oh, I see these 2 or 3 green candles, I'm out. A lot of people would do that. What did the trend do? Did the trend change in any of these? No, it didn't. And until the trend does, I trust the chart enough. Again, prefacing this that you're not using so much leverage that you can't withstand a normal move in price, right? But I trust the trend to guide me. Okay, so I would expect to get some support, right, at the 200, but I don't, because that trend and divergence is still down and increasing. You break the 200, still trending down, still trending down. Failed breakout. We talk about this all the time. So what are you using? We're using this as a guide, right? We're using it as a trigger and a filter. So we're filtering that this move is trending down, and we have the ability to filter out these 2 candles as just simple, regular, everyday green candles in a downtrend. This candle doesn't break the T line, doesn't close above the T line, doesn't have enough price momentum in these 2 candles to drag the 5 EMA up through it to be one of the conditions that helps trigger a buy signal. There's more than one, but you can see that just didn't have the momentum. Again, this is what you're looking at. As long as that divergence is there, it's telling you the trend is still in place. And the failed breakout, you arc up, you roll over, you take out the previous wave's low. And that's what we did. You have the ability to just follow the market by listening to what the chart's telling you and just manage the trade accordingly. This is, I know that's a really easy, it would, as my father would have said, it's an easy say and a hard do. I get that. Like, this is not easy, right? Oh, there's my sell signal. And then all this crazy ass price action. You still have to have the stones to stay in this trade and do what you're told. Now, at some point, you're making so much money that you can afford to, to wait out a candle or 2, right? Like, it's not a big deal. This sideways action, a lot of people would probably wash themselves of it, but ultimately, the trend would continue down. Get a little choppy up in here, right? And then there's your bigger reversal. We just do what we're told. Not every trade is going to turn out like this, right? Not every run is this long. These were kind of unique and special. Regardless of how long or short the move is, you can visually tell how to, whether or not you should be staying in the trade. You have to be able to stomach these candles or not be using so much leverage that they would stop you out or liquidate you or whatever the case may be. So that's a balance that you have to try and find. Right? But if you can't, in a downtrend even, if you can't withstand price action like this, then you're using too much leverage.
I think we all been there.
Well, for sure. It's very tempting, right? Like,
yeah,
they offer it because it's very good for them. It can be good for you, but you have to know how to use it appropriately. And using more is not always better, because using more leverage at some point will stop you out or check you out of a runner in some way, shape, or form. So there's a balance there, but you are better off using less leverage and staying in the trade longer.
Yeah. I tend to use a lot less leverage just because I like to keep my mental faculties like clean. I don't like that anxiety. I don't like that noise, because I know me, right? So it's like, if I can manage to trade with a like lower leverage, and I don't even know if that's low leverage, 20x, somebody might be like, what, 20 to 50 is low for you? I'm like, I'm not doing 100. Some people are doing 100x leverage, but I feel like, with 20 or 50 or something like that, I can be a little bit better, but maybe even lower, start off with, I think they start you off with 10 or something like that when you first open your account. So,
what I would like people to be able to do is to get the feel for what it's like to be selling long and short. And, the only way you're going to be able to do that, other than a demo account, is to use a perpetual, but just use a very small, minimal amount, just so that you can have the feel of learning how to sell short. Because a lot of people are so afraid of, betting against the market or betting that price will go down. It's an unnatural ask. But and a couple things have to happen. You have to get your head in the mindset that it's just a chart. It's not a marriage or a relationship. It's just a chart. And your job is to monetize the chart. That's it. It owes you nothing. It is a means to an end.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, it is. I've seen a lot of people that know you, Blunt. We got fibs, fractals, and filters. Oh my! So we got a good crowd, man. The stream just broke 238 people live with us. It's really
awesome.
Nice to see you. Yeah, it's really nice, man. And you know what? I think in times like this we need to do this. This is, we need to refine this stuff when the euphoria is gone, right? Because a little bit the euphoria has left the room. So this is where we need to hold on together and refine what we've been doing, right? This is where we cast this thing in the fire. We throw it in the fire. We're in beating on this so we can get better and better at this. So when it does pump again, you can print, or when it does fall back, you don't have to be one of those people that feel like the sky fell on you, and you're probably somebody who monetized it on the way down, right? So, this is why right now, as the euphoria has left the X spaces and everybody's walking back and forth, they're like, what do you think? What do you think? Is it over? Is it over? It's like, this is the perfect time to, let me refine my idea. Let me refine my strategy. Let me make sure that I got some kind of wisdom, some kind of tangible understanding of the market. So I'm not just like, oh my, that's really dangerous right there.
I think it's very easy to get lulled into this false sense of security, right? And when price has, for many, people that are investing and trading in this space, it's all very new. And, their experience in it is either price goes up drastically or it goes down drastically, and there's nothing in between. And that's also not a realistic view of how price moves, right? Because it does move in predictable patterns. As you know, I believe this is a language. This is all based on mathematics. Mathematics is a language. Thus, this is a language unto itself. And, this is an example. This is the daily XRP chart. And it's kind of an example of how we get lulled into A, that false sense of security, and then B, wrapped in a narrative. And this is not being critical of the people that hold or buy or trade XRP. I'm just using the chart as an example. We know to the left of this, there was nothing but flat trading, right? That kind of accumulation phase where there's no real big move in price up or down, but there's a lot of people acquiring. and then all of a sudden it explodes. The narrative part comes in when you have people talking that this is happening because of something. And then this move validates that narrative for a lot of people.
Right.
And it may or not be true. Right. And that to me is the noise. That's the noise in the market. That's what's going to cause you to make a mistake. It's going to cause you to buy at the wrong time and sell at the wrong time. And what's the question you get asked all the most, first and foremost? When do I buy and when do I sell? Right. It's the question that never goes away. Here's when you buy and here's when you sell. Because the chart tells you to sell. Now, this stuff here is the stuff that's going to kind of lull us and give us that false sense of security, right? You have a reasonable pullback. You mentioned fibs. Like, let's throw some fibs on here real quick. I'll use this as the swing low and this is the high. Here's 618, right at this 258 and change level. Be interesting to see how this plays out when I advance the chart. But so this is what we're going to do. We're going to throw fibs on here. And I would do this on any chart on a big move like this, because you're looking for, hey, where's this retracement going to go? And it comes back to 50%. And I know why this level's here. It's because we identified it as a structural level on this daily chart.
Right.
You can see it picking up all of that, all of this price action. So it comes back to 50%, which is actually more bullish than bearish. Right? So here we are, you're just walking along, and then all of a sudden, hey, you get a sell signal. Now, what happened on Friday when everything sold off hard? You heard people that actually had spent years accumulating assets sell them off in 5 minutes. What the hell? Right? Like, you do that because you don't know how price moves on the chart and you don't understand what it's telling you at certain points in time. So the difference between a trader and an investor in the most simplistic terms is that investors are prepared to lose money, but traders are not. Traders don't like losing money. I'm not prepared to buy something because it's an early entrant into a category and I think it's the next greatest thing. It's not what I do. There are those people that do that, and they're prepared to ride those things down to zero because they have a belief in a relationship. It's almost like a marriage. I'm not going to divorce myself from what I believe in. And that's dangerous. And we're going to show you why. So here's your sell signal. You can choose to ignore it if you want to. Just like we have no idea, like to the left when this move took off, you have no idea what's around the corner. We didn't know that move was going to go parabolic, because all we knew is that we got some buy signals. We got divergence in the metrics that we use to determine trend and momentum, and price went parabolic, and we just followed it. So let's assume the same principle. Let's follow it to the downside. Now, if you're an investor, you're not going to sell here. Right? You didn't sell down here, so why would you sell here? Because you have no idea what's coming out of or behind the current candle that you're working on. Is all you knew is that this is a daily, by the way, so you would have picked this up on a 4-hour and the 1 hour quite easily. And let's do that. We're going to be up here. So, there's where things fell off a cliff, but here's you. Here's you, the trader, up here, looking for an opportunity to short something. Here's this consolidation on the 4-hour. We don't want to trade the chop. But if we were to take this one, this is the one that opened up. But you did not know that this was coming. But here it is, right? So you're in that trade early, and then all of a sudden, price just capitulates. Now, on Friday evening, I was asked in a space about this particular chart in an XRP space, because the question automatically is, so there's Friday and there's, Saturday's candle, which kind of opens on that Friday night. And what's it doing, right? It's a little doji candle that really was just hanging there after a big impulse down. So those of you that come into the streams regularly will know what I'm about to say next is that after any impulse down, whether it be this or, a fraction of this, a candle that follows it that doesn't even show you that it can challenge the 5 EMA or the T line is extremely bearish.
Mm-hmm.
And the question to me was, is there more downside? And my response was, I believe there is. This current candle was doing this. We haven't challenged. There's just too much divergence here. I know that. I can see it, right? So there's Sunday. Sunday goes nowhere. You wick I think that's the 200 MA on the daily. You actually wick it, but can't break it. There's your challenge of the T line. It can't break it. So now we're on to Monday. Is the divergence still there? Yes. Is it still kind of arcing down? Yes. Right. There's the following candle, Tuesday. You can start to see that divergence open up again with a little bit of momentum. And here we are today. So, those failed breakouts that we showed on the shorter time frame on Bitcoin? Well, here you go. This is it on a daily chart on XRP. Impulse down. These are bearish because they can't break trend. There's not enough momentum in these 3 candles to pull the 5 up over the T line. Divergence is intact, downplay, or the trend is still in play. And here we are, and we're going to take out the previous waves low. So the answer that I gave, is there more down? Yes, there is. They were saying, oh, that guy was wrong. But I know what I'm looking at, right? Like, I get it. That's okay. I've been doing this for a few more days than they have. That's okay. But that's why we do this, so that we can share this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And this is where everyone makes mistakes. Unless you were able to snatch that wick, which would be really hard to do, by the way. And you saw these 3 green candles and you're like, that's it. I'm going long again. You know what? You heard it. And then price rolls over.
Yeah.
Right. This is why. So this is why you're paying attention to the daily when you're trading those shorter time frames, because you got to know where the T line is here. You have to know where the 5 EMA is, because if you're on a shorter time frame, you have to know you're going to get resistance at those levels. That's what I was trying to point out before.
100%, blood. Like, just what's interesting is, like, days before the wipeout happened, the markets were pretty toppy, and I was like, hey, if you zoom out and you look at some of these daily, I mean, I wouldn't be against it, filling some of these gaps that could be to the downside. And I got a lot of people who pull up that are XRP people. It's a little bit harder to tell the XRP people that there's probably a little bit more downside. They're not trying to hear. I'm like, look, if you're for XRP for the long term, or what XRP is going to be, then the price doesn't even matter to you, right? If that's the way that you want to trade this thing, right? If you're trading it as far as like, hey, I've been holding it since it was 60 cents and I'm going to keep holding it until every bank is using it. If that's your trade, like, plan your trade and trade your plan, whether your plan is that it's waiting for it to be, used in the banks, or whether your plan is for it to reach a certain price and then you sell. Like, you have to come up with whatever your strategy is. But, I was saying, hey, maybe you guys might see some cheaper price. That was the way that I could put it for them. I was like, I think you guys might be seeing some cheaper entries for those who want to accumulate more XRP. I'm not flooding your guys' bag. We're not against you guys, but I think sometimes, like, what's nice is when the markets are toppy, you're supposed to look at like downside risk, right? And then when the markets are really oversold, you're either looking at upside potential, or even if you're short, you're still looking at upside risk, right? Let's say you shorted the market and now it's getting really oversold, it's starting to consolidate, it's starting to look like it's finding a support somewhere down there. as a short trader, you're looking at upside risk, so no matter what, you're going to be mitigating your risk on these moves, on these trades, whether it's to the downside or to the up.
Yep. And the concerning thing about this chart, and again, this is nothing, this could be IBM, it could be anything, right? Has nothing to do with the asset. There's a reason that we identify levels on these charts. So let's actually take the lower one first, because what did we do here is all we were trying to do is just line up consistent levels of past price. Of course, not knowing what's down here yet because it hasn't happened. But we're simply just trying to establish a consistent level where past price has found either support or resistance. That's why this is here. This is simply identifying a structural level. We covered this in our stream, but this is identifying a structural level on this chart. And how do we do that? Again, we're lining up consistent levels of past price. This is exactly the same setup that we saw on the Bitcoin chart 5 years ago when price was moving up its first wave and then rolled over and hit 30, right? Well, it was the same thing. There were 3 candles that did this. And then when price rolled over, it came back and revisited it. Why? Because it was looking for a place where it could sit down and it needed a bench. And this is where it found it, right? That's why it's here. So it's identified a structural level. Price has broken the structural level. And back to what I was talking about failing this T line and this divergence telling you the trend is still intact to the downside. Breaking this level is even more critical than breaking the structural level, in my opinion, because this one was set on a lot more price from a lot farther back. So my concern on the daily chart, and this is just a technical read, it's nothing to do with the asset, and I could pull up any crypto chart and it will look like this right now, is that you have this failed breakout rolling over, taking out the previous wave's low. And you're broken the lower value range on the volume profile, which is here. So we know this is light trading, this grayed out area. This is where the density is, but this is really light trading. And we know what happens when price gets into areas where there's been light trading. It can rip through it up and down pretty fast. So I'm concerned that as you go to take out this previous wave's low, there's a little bit of a gappy area here. This is your shelf right in here. And the shelf is consistent with what? This bench of past price. Make sense? So let's just actually identify this area because I don't want to forget it. And what's interesting, Rico, is you'll notice where I put this level. You see this, the T line? You see the T line and the 5 EMA down here and how it consistently cuts through again and again?
Yes.
This is an important level. So what I think is going to happen is that we're going to roll over and we're going to come back to this level here.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think that's fair to say.
And I'll have that belief until the chart's invalidated. Right.
Right.
And as long as this divergence is as it is, it makes me a little bit more committed to where I think it wants to go. But what else can we do? And anybody can do this. What else can you do to try and validate, give yourself some levels? We already have the 200 up here. We've broken the 200 in here, so we know that that's critical. And we just start looking down. So a couple things on this chart. This amber line that you see, it's right in here where the wick is. I hope you can see it. That's the 1,000-day MA that's first starting to appear on this feed. So where did price go? Did it just fall to the ground and stop somewhere because it just fell and decided to stop in a certain place? No, it stopped because it was looking for past price. It completely capitulated here. So now that we've added some more context to this chart, here's your point of control, right? You fail the point of control and start to roll over, then all of a sudden you produce a sell signal on the daily. You break the 20 and the 50, the T line and the 5 EMA all in one candle, and then you're instantly using them as resistance, and all this divergence opens up and price just falls down. As long as this divergence is there, price is more inclined to fall. Let's look at the weekly, because there's probably something on here that's, here it is. We're failing the 50. So here's this level that I just added to the chart. It's at basically 215. And what are we doing? We're just taking a quick look here, trying to average some price from the past. Areas of consistent levels. We're failing the 50. Here's your sell signal on the weekly. Stochastic RSI is still diverged open and still trending down. Moving average and signal line on your MACD. Yes, above zero, but obviously diverged and trending down, telling us there's a little bit of momentum here. So what's price looking for? It's looking for a place that it can sit down, where it's been before, where buyers and sellers have shaken hands in the past. So it broke the 20 without using it as resistance at all. It wicked it here, but broke right through it. And because it did that, the message is, holy crap, there's some momentum to this. Next candle, trading below the 50. That's not a good sign. And that's how this goes, right? This is not, again, it's not a knock on any one particular asset. We can show you lots of them that will look like this, right? So, you know, Solana, same thing.
52 likes, nice.
Good. But look at this divergence. The same thing that I just showed you on XRP, you're seeing here. Big impulse down. There's your 200 MA and your 500 MA, catching those wicks and giving you support. Don't tell me that current price doesn't look for past price. Of course it does. Right? There's a gazillion examples over the last 400 years for us to show. Here's your failed breakout. Price arcs over, looking for previous waves low. What's this failing up here? Upper value range and the 20 MA. While you still have this divergence to the downside open, right? There's your failure look. And there's nothing super complicated even about this. It's just a system, right? So we're using multiple moving averages to create levels for us, and we can use them on any time frame. We use the volume profile to do the same thing, because the volume profile shows us where volume has and has not been. This is a shitty example. Another, and this is why we use multiple time frames. Here you can see the failures of the 200 MA, that most basic bull bear indicator that we have. So you have a toolbox full of tools, and you just apply them on different time frames to different assets, and you'll see everything that you need to see.
So you don't need a truck. What'd you say?
You don't need a pickup truck full of tools. You just need really good toolbox. That's it. You'll notice on all these 1 hour crypto charts, Rico, that they're all kind of flat like this.
Yeah, that's a chop right there.
Yeah, this market's trying to figure out what it wants to do next.
Exactly. That's what I've been doing. This is where, like, I want everybody to. I got something really cool for everybody. We're at 478 blunt. This is a really solid stream. I really appreciate you. There's a lot of people in the chat that's learning so much. You know, guys, this is not something that you gotta you don't gotta get this today, right? You're absorbing this information. Don't be so don't be hard on yourself where. You know, I know the feeling where, like, at first you're like, you know, some people they're absorbing it. Somebody might be on the sidelines, like, whoa, don't beat yourself up. This is something that takes a little bit of time. We're going to keep doing more of these streams. I'm going to keep getting blunt up here as many times as I can, because this is something that you want your eyes just to keep absorbing. And if you notice, once you know how to do this, how many charts have we pulled up and they're all very similar? Whether it's the BTC chart, it's the XRP chart. That's why eventually you become indifferent to price, because you'll start to notice that it doesn't matter what the price is on whatever ticker it is that you're looking at. You're almost looking at the same structure of patterns where you're like, wait a minute. You guys might call this one XRP and this one chitty chitty bang bang, but I've seen this same pattern before. Right. It's like, so don't get so caught up where you feel like you might be overwhelmed. We got a really cool giveaway coming up. I actually got the giveaway tool, so like that I don't miss anybody for this amazing giveaway that Blunt is doing. A very generous giveaway, giving somebody this indicator that I saw a couple people in the chat already saying, I want this indicator. I want this indicator. You know what? I want you guys to have this indicator as well. It's very powerful, and I think if you guys use it for 30 days, give you guys that opportunity, you guys will see how powerful this is. So we got the GDC 33, the Can Do fam is in here. I got my Can Do merch on. You guys see that, man? We got so many different communities in here. We got Profit Bear from the Jesus Coin community. We got the Can Do community. We got the XPX community. We got the Feg token community. And this is what I want in these moments where like the market's trying to spook us or whatever. We don't have to be spooked. Let's figure out, hey, this, I know that. Let's work together, right?
Ultimately, you want to be the person that everyone thinks is batshit crazy.
I heard that.
Because, and I'll be honest, Rico, I've been doing this for 25 years, so I'm dating myself a little bit. But the first 10 years, as I was kind of going through the process of learning and applying, I told very few people that I did it. Because every time I did, they would just laugh at me. Would you learn buy low, sell high? Ha, ha, ha. Right. And then it'd be like, actually, no, I kind of learned how to tell where the high is and the low is. And they're like, right. Oh, right. And then, as you get older and cranky and all that kind of stuff, you get a little more confident. You're able to talk about things that might sound nuts to people. And I understand and appreciate, like I trade on three principles, the fibs that we talked about, the fractals, the multiple time frames, and some filters, one of which is just the simple T-line and 5 EMA, as well as a few others, but that's the basic. And once you understand that this is a language and price is moving the way it does for particular reasons, and it's patterns that repeat over time, you'll realize that when it validates over and over and over again on various time frames on different assets, that there's more than a little bit to it. And whether it was like, hey guys, Bitcoin's going to 30 grand, and it was a lot more than that, and everyone thinks you're nuts. And then 3 weeks later, it's like, hey, where's that guy that said Bitcoin was going to 30,000?
Exactly.
Right? Because it did exactly what I said it was going to do and went exactly where I said, but not because I had some special crystal ball. It's just because I understood that current price was going to revisit past and that you were at levels that were unsustainable, and it was going to have to come back and check a few things off. This is no different. This is an oil chart. So what we do on crypto and we do on stocks, we can do on commodities. So this goes back to September of 23, is after oil kind of fell from its highs, and it's approaching $95, closed at 90. And the consensus was by everyone in the world that it was going to be $100 by next week. Well, I look at the chart and I see a doji at the top of a weekly leg higher. And I see this pointing out, and I see the momentum falling, and I can see that the trend looks to be changing. Well, I don't see that taking me to 100, and I'm just trying to be a reasonable, rational person. That's not the recipe that takes me to 100. So what do? You start to throw on a few little things to kind of tell you where you are. Well, lo and behold, you're trading above the 20, the 50, the 200, 1,000 day on a weekly, and a 500 day on a weekly. So you're trading well above all support, which is fine, until you have to come back and start to tag them, because that's what happens. The doji was telling as an indication that maybe that's what was going on. The thing was overbought for an extended period of time on the weekly with the stochastic RSI, and actually just starting to show you a little bit of a roll. And same with the Fisher. Well, the Fisher doesn't change unless it's a meaningful change. And when it changes on a weekly, that's even more relevant. So I'm looking at this going, okay, well, if you start to come back and check these levels, you're for sure coming back to 70, 80 right in here. And if you don't hold that, then you're going to come back and check this level at 1,000 AMA on the weekly, which it's been before. And then you got the 200 here. And then as you start to just condense the chart, because that's what we do, it's our job. And you're like, okay, well, if what I said actually happens, well, then I have no more moving average support on that time frame to help me. And you can see how important it is, right? Look at the wicks to the 500. Look at the wicks and the bases at the 200. Tons of support at the 1,000 MA. So I start to condense the chart. And you know those candles that we talk about with the 2 equal tops or bottoms that are usually, indications of changes in direction? Well, I see these guys. So they get my attention, right? That's not a big deal. They're okay. Noted. It's close to a similar level that I'm thinking, but you continue to roll the chart back. And what do you see? Well, that level, the base of those 2 candles, actually connects a ton of past price. Look, that's going back into 2015, and I can go back even farther. So I'm like, what level's that? 61.66. Okay. So I'm looking at the chart. I see the doji. I see the divergence in the trend starting to move to the downside. I see where my targets to the downside are. And there's my number, 61.66. We look back to the left. We line up some past price just like we do every day. And we demonstrate in our streams. And I'm the guy that says, I don't know, man. I think you're going to 60 or 70 bucks before you're going to 100. Oh, you guys thought you gave me hate mail when I said that about Bitcoin? These oil guys, these oil people are something else, right? They didn't want to hear it, right? They didn't want to hear it because storage, because tankers, because supply, because demand, blah, 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 blah. That's all I hear. Yada, 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 yada. All right. Here's what price is doing. We care about what money's doing, not what people say. I don't give a rat's ass what people say. I only care about what price does. Price will tell me everything that those other idiots can't. There's the next week's candle. Still see that divergence open? Yep. Oh, hello. There's your 20. Now you finally get your sell signal. Anywhere between 80 and 84 and change, $85. But you're short from the 90s because that's what the chart said to do. Oh, you found the 50. Break one level, find the next. Is that divergence open to the right? Yes. Did it break the 20 like it wasn't there? Yes. Did you break the 50 like it wasn't there? Yes. What do you think the market's telling you? I don't give a shit what your inventory says. I don't care. I'm sorry about the language. I don't care. Right? Like it doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant. I only care about what price is doing because the chart discounts everything. Do you think you know more about these markets than someone else? No. Somebody always knows more than us. Is all that I know is what their money does. And that's all I care about, is the ability to track what their money does. Look at all the wicks being pushed down at the 50. Can't break the T line. All the way back to 1,000 MA weekly. You know what that is? That's 20 some odd years of price history. Now, when I was first learning to do this, my mentor pulled me aside one day and says, you want to be the only person in the room not making a mistake one day? And I'm like, yes, right? So he tells me about the 1,000-day and 500-day moving averages and how to use them on long-term time frames where you have lots of price history, especially with commodities. He liked to trade oil and he liked to trade lumber and copper and things like that. Nevertheless, the message was that when you trade below, I'm going to take some of these averages off. When you trade below 1,000, look at the support you got from 1,000 days and how it
Right.
acted as resistance,
Mm-hmm.
right? But what it's telling you, what do we know about oil markets? They're cyclical, right? And they're based on trends. And those trends usually go 15 to 20 years. Well, what are we doing right now? We're coming back and we're revisiting those 20 years. Right? So price breaks down. Just like we say, here it comes back to the 1,000, bounces. Oop. So now we have an opportunity to make an equal top. I would do the same exercise on a 5-minute chart if I was trading it.
Right.
Oh, I have an opportunity to connect this and this. I'm making a lower low. Okay. Or a lower high, rather. I'm going to tag it. So I do. What happens? Price rolls right over. Comes right back. Finds support again. Now, at this point, you're telling people who are interested that if you break, remember, this is a weekly chart, so there's months in here, right? If you break this level, you've got a problem. And you should be paying attention because you're making lower highs. And at some point in time, either you're going to bounce to and find that $100 or you're going to capitulate. You fail again. No, if you weren't taking it seriously up here, you probably are now. What do? Come back and revisit that same level. And now you have a problem. You've broken 20 some odd years of price history with a very, very angry candle.
Yep.
Right? 2 weeks of green candles. Oh, well, the bottom's in, the bottom's in. Bullshit. You couldn't even break the 5 EMA.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so here you get your next test and you fail. What do you think's in here? Do you think there's anything else in here other than that gravestone doji? Because that's what it's called. 200 MA. Look at the 200 MA acting as support and resistance. Right? This is very relevant. Now, people in the oil business are going to, or trading oil, are going to say, oh man, this thing melted. Nobody knew it was going to melt and so on. Oh, come on. How hard is this? Right? This is not hard stuff.
And I'm going to say something really quick. Like, if you guys want to practice that first mouse gets to squeeze, second mouse gets to cheese, you see it on the 200 the most. Like, if you see that first attempt when it came up, the first thing it did was hit that 200 moving average and it got rejected and went right back down. Like, you'll see a lot of times, and not just to the downside, but to the upside. So let's say you're trading the chart, long, and it's the first time that it breaks above that 200 moving average. You'll also see that first time that it touches the 200 moving average, that's that first attempt. And that second move higher is usually a lot higher, right? But as the chart's going down, one thing that you want to avoid is when you start seeing some green candles come to life and it's that first attempt going up to that 200 moving average, you better wave your finger no with an attitude and be like, I'm not falling for that one again. Show me that you can get above the 200 moving average before I start considering some of this price action, right? So you got to put your foot down somewhere. Put it down.
And this really is the macro example, right, of kind of believing in what you do. But lo and behold, what did you find? 61, 66. And look how many, it's a real number. Look how many times you hit it. So all through here, that's what this line is. So it may sound absurd. Like when I looked at this chart and I'm like, holy crap, that's a huge dip, right? From 90 to 60. But that's what, in the event of continued failure and the attraction to this level that was already established, I don't know. The trend was down and it seemed like the only way that it could go to me. But now that we're here, it doesn't sound so crazy anymore. But yet, knowing what we know about how price works and moves, this is the monthly chart. Now the 1,000-day doesn't show up anymore because too much time is, doesn't show, but the 500 does. So we know that when we break one level, we find the next. So what have we broken the 20, the green? Yes, we have. This is a monthly chart. Did we break the 50, the blue? Yes, we have. Did we break the 200? Yes, we have. What's left? This 47 and change. That's where it sits today. Now, people are going to go, that's absurd. Really? Was it absurd when it hit it here? Was it absurd when it hit it here? Was it absurd way back down here? Sorry, way back down here? Maybe felt like it at the time,
In
but the chart
denial is
doesn't care.
crazy.
Yeah, the chart doesn't care what we think or feel.
It doesn't.
Right? Current price revisits past price. In the event of a downtrend or an uptrend, current price will be looking for past. So just like I showed you on those shorter time frames, this is a failed breakout that rolls over and eventually takes out the previous wave's low. Well, here it's doing it on the monthly. On its way to, in all likelihood, looking for this somewhere. I'm not saying it's going to stay there, but if this trend continues, that's what it will look for, just like it did all of these other levels on the way down. This, even to me, still feels at 47 and change like a long way away, but it's not that far away. It's $10, $11. That's it.
It will do it.
Right? Like, it's just, eventually there will be a time that this will be a monster long. Right? For someone, at the right time, I think, oil will be the trade of your lifetime. It's just not today.
Right. It's just not today.
It's just not today. The trend is still down, and I believe it's looking for that.
Blunt, let's do another giveaway. I got the giveaway thing lined up for everybody. We got 652 people in here.
What?
So let's have some fun with this amazing community, because this is the XPX community is so strong that they create this FOMO around the stream. Like, I got to give a big shout out to, they get the stream going, they get all the links out. Then we got the Space Penguins in here. Then we get the Can Do Chads in here. Now I'm seeing the Vote Army pulling up as well. It's like, honestly, it's like, when we start doing this, is all these communities kind of really make this stuff happen. I see the gorillas up in here, so shout out to the Fake Token gorillas also. And again, this is how we can get a lot of attention on all of our projects. So I'm gonna bring your screen down for 1 second. I'm gonna put this screen up really quick because it's gonna make it very easy for you guys to get in on this indicator. Smart DeFi family in the house. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, fam. I'm so excited for this. Like, we look, I was even looking at Aster Blunt's talking, and it's like, I was like, okay, after we do this giveaway, I want to show Aster again, because this is a perfect example of, there's some green candles and you think it's going up, but don't you trade against that 200 moving average. I'm telling you right now, I don't care how good these green candles look when it's trying to look like it's going up. On any of these time frames, you'll see, there was moments, okay, these green candles looking good. And, this is that chop that we're talking about, okay? Do not trade this chop. Let it do what, if you're like Blunt says during his streams, and I want you guys to definitely pull up to them. It's like, you want to have I don't know, 3 to 5 that you love to watch, right? If Aster's going through the chop and the trade's not there, let it cook. Let it do what it's doing. Let it do that choppiness. Find your other play that you like to trade. Maybe you like to trade CFX. Maybe you're just trading BTC. But I know what you're not trading is the chop, right? Because you're going to get caught up in this going on right now. What we want to trade is that breakup or that breakdown. Right now, do not get caught in any of this noise right now, okay? Just be very careful, because right now it's still trading to through that chop zone right now. And I'm watching this one because I do want one of those longs of a lifetime if the market turns around. If it's not, fine. If it hits the 200 and comes right back down, then that's your short. So let's come over here to this, because you guys turned up for this live stream for sure. 653 people live with us. I really appreciate you guys. So this is what we're going to do right here for you guys. If you guys want to get this Blunt House indicator, one thing that I'm going to make sure, if you're the winner, I'm going to make sure, okay, that you have to be following Blunt, okay? So I'm going to come in, and I don't got nothing else to do but be on Web3, okay? So I'm going to make sure that you're actually following his page. So I'm actually going to grab this first to make sure that you guys are doing this, because we got to grow this account for all this alpha that we're getting over here. So make sure you're giving him a follow right there. And then what we're going to do is actually run this right now. All you're going to have to do is put hashtag blunt house. And it's just taking all of your it's just getting all of your guys' entries right now. So go ahead and put that in right now. And your entry again, and don't miss out for that.
And to the winner, I think, Rico, this only actually makes sense. So whoever wins,
Okay.
I'll spend some time with you to help you set up the indicator and show you how to use it. Because once you get into it, there's a few things that you're going to need to know. So I'll help you set it up. And if you like, I'll spend some time with you and kind of give you an idea of how I trade and how you can use it to your advantage. So I'll commit to spend some time with you as well.
Look, I'm about to put my name in here. Oh my God. Don't, fam. I know. I'm just going to repeat that again in case you guys are here. So he's basically going to be holding your hand, making Rico jealous and getting you guys on board. No, I'm messing with you guys. This is why I love having you up on here, Blunt. You really just want people to understand this. And you've been doing this inside of the Fed group. While this is filling up, like I said, hashtag Blunt House. I do want to show your page a little bit and kind of talk about what you've been doing for a little bit. So you guys can give him a follow over here where he's dropping a lot of the alpha that he's talking about. A lot of the times you'll find them in the Fed token TG. So let me click on this, see what he's got going on. So yeah, inside the Fed token Telegram, you guys can follow him on X, and Telegram is also at Blunt420. His YouTube channel as well is on the at Blunt House, at Blunt House TA, and the Fed token official, where you guys can see that. And if you guys sign up for his BYD-Fi account, you guys also have the chance to get some of these trading bonuses. And I mean, that's what it's all about, kind of giving back, letting you guys trade with some of these bonuses. And now, I mean, some hands-on trading, a little bit of, hey, this is why I use this is why I do that. That's really healthy, fam. That is really, really healthy. That's good for you guys, especially right now. So letting this fill up for a second. Let's look at Aster doing a little shakeout as you guys put hashtag Blunt House. I'm going to let you guys fill this up like crazy because we got 35 entries. I'm sure there's some people on the, if you're listening over on X right now, I'm going to give you guys a chance too, because actually if you come over to X, it's going to make you wait like, I don't know, 5 minutes before you can enter this. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time. So if you're listening over on X, come over to YouTube, because I see the comments, some of them are coming through X. You guys want to do this on the YouTube side, and StreamYard will pick up your guys' entry. So I'm going to give you guys just a little bit more time on that. And then we're just going to look at Aster really quick and just showing you guys, man, look, under the 1 hour, underneath the 200 moving average, you go to the 30-minute underneath the 200 moving average. So 15-minute is bearish underneath this 200 moving averages. You can go to any time frame. Look at this thing trading underneath this 200 moving average. All these little green times, these little couple green times could have tricked anybody. Say, oh, this is the bottom. I'm about to trade into no, you better not. Don't do it no more, okay? And I'm even talking to myself. I got to keep myself in check. This is something that we got to do.
The longing into resistance, I think, happens a lot when you're trying to cheat and get a head start.
Yes.
Right? Like where you're trying to front run the chart. And the idea is not to front run it. Just let it tell you where it wants to go. And we have the tools to help you follow it.
100%. And it'll look something like this. It's boring at first because you got to wait for this setup. But when it happens, it's not so boring. Once you're in the trade, it's a lot more fun. When this thing's trading like this, let it do what it has to do. It gets above the 50. Okay, that's showing you some positive action. Cool, above the 50. Finally, it breaks above this 200. There's going to be a fake out where that first mouse little game starts to play and take action. If you start to see that green candle print after that support above that 200, that's your boom, pull that trigger thing, because also you'll have some of this trading into some of these gaps. You'll have the upper value range, but you want to get above this 200 moving average to really, somebody went crazy with hashtag Blunt House on that one. That was nice. Let me show you this one. Look, I said, I want to win. I wonder if it gives you better odds. Maybe you guys all better try this while you guys are spamming the chat. So I've been using this indicator, fam. You guys have been seeing me. This has been helping me out. I think it's one of the reasons, if I'm being transparent with you guys, that I'm actually still here. And not everybody is still here after this shakeout, because on BTC was some of the ones that we were looking at on the daily chart where we were like, hey, fam, it's not doing what we wanted to do. That's a sell signal. And some people say, hey, I would have never seen it coming. But honestly, it already told us a long time ago. This 4-hour chart told us sell signal, breaking the 50 moving average. If you would have got out and accepted that at $120,000 BTC, none of this yank down here, even if you didn't trade it, it would have not bothered you. You would have either got cheaper prices or you would have traded it. But right here at $122,000, it said, Rico, anybody using the blunt house indicator, sell signal. And when I see the blunt house indicator put a sell signal and it is breaking through this 50 moving average at the same time, boy, do I respect that. You know, these kind of far away, I already know that most likely there's going to be some turning around, but the minute it's really close to where it's breaking through at the same time, you want to pay attention to those. Something like this long right here, how it's really close to this moving average and it prints a green one and it's breaking through. That's a runner. All right. Blunt. Here we go. You're going to have a new student, 47. That's nice, man. I wanted to fill out because this is
that's good.
This is a great opportunity for somebody, right? This is huge.
You know, everybody here is looking for an edge, right? We're all going through the same stuff, trying to figure out our way through life. It's ups, downs, and sideways, just like in markets. A lot of people are having a hard time making ends meet, right? It's not easy for people right now. It's hard for everybody. And, you know, I've had people come to me and say, I need to get a part-time job, but then I got to get a babysitter for the 2 kids. And then that costs me more than I make at my part-time job. And it's like, well, how much money do you want to make? Like, is it $100 a day, $200 a day? And if you think about the average part-time job, it's probably works out to roughly $100 a day.
Mm-hmm.
35 a year, 35.5, if you could make that in a part-time job, that really is what it would work out to. Well, do we have the ability to make $100 a day without leaving the house? Yeah, we do. And I think what happens to people is that they get so hung up on what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is saying, and they get sucked into more than one tornado. And It's very difficult to determine, how to think anymore. And no one will take away what you can learn doing this. No one can take it away from you. Like, I'm just a guy, right? Rico's just a guy. I didn't work at Goldman. I didn't go to MIT. I'd like to think I'm half smart enough to figure this stuff out over time, but it's the ebb and flow of money. It's the fingerprints of money, right? And that's all we're following. And we just have some very simple methodologies and tools to help you do that. And ultimately, I've taken my experience over time and kind of condensed it into an easy to interpret and decipher methodology that anybody can use. Is all you have to do is what you're told. And that's what this script indicator does. And it, for those that are using it, they'll tell you it more than pays for itself. Every month it's like it pays for itself quickly. So
let's get that new person that's going to pay for
it
as well. Let's get them up here right now. I see the chat. They're all ready. They're probably biting their fingernails. They're already telling people congratulations. Puff, puff, pass the blunt house. Here you guys go, man. You guys definitely deserve this. Thank you guys so much. Me and Blunt both really appreciate the support. We're doing this because we love to do this. Honestly, like I've shown you guys my YouTube revenue. YouTube doesn't pay a bill. I love doing this. It keeps me, warm on what's going on with the markets. I love this opportunity that we all have, and I think we can continue to grow and get better in the space. So here goes to Blunt House new student.
All right.
That Blunt House School of Technical Analysis. Here we go. Winner. Who's it gonna be? Oh, somebody's gonna get some alpha. Oh my God. Oh. Okay. Cardano is the future. He's got a nice Toyota truck right there,
Congrats,
man. Smart
bud.
guy right there. Cardano is the future. You're probably gonna want to maybe. Speaking of Cardano is the future, and this is the winner. Cardano is the future. You need to send me a DM on either. Actually, you can send. This is where you need. This is the link that you need to use. But let me know your @handle for X right now to make sure that because we'll have a bunch of people making an account just like yours right now. There's going to be a bunch of people right now. There's going to be like 5 different Cardanos the future right now. So tell me your at handle. So like that, you can DM Blunt on X. So tell me your at handle for X Cardano is the future. And then you're going to want to DM Blunt ASAP, actually, probably right now. Otherwise, like I said, somebody's going to pretend to be you. You're going to be all flattered up. And then what we'll do is we'll actually go to Cardano just for, just for fun. And then, we're rolling over close to the 2-hour mark. We got close to 700 people, but we can probably wrap it up around the 200 mark, probably do this again next Wednesday. Let everybody know that you all are also doing it on tomorrow in the Feg chat. So
as a matter of fact, we are. Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. So we try and go live around noon. It never turns out to be noon. It's always a touch after, but I'll take all the blame for that. But no, 12-ish Eastern time. We're usually on for a good 90 minutes to 2 hours, and we'll take your questions on symbols or any tickers that you want to look at. It doesn't have to be crypto. It can be stocks. It can be bonds. It can be a commodity. It doesn't matter. We can look at everything. And we just try and help you understand that this is a language, and we're trying to teach you the language of the market. And as all you have to do is, we've kind of created the parameters for you to just follow what the market tells you to do, as opposed to waking up every day trying to figure out what to trade and how to trade it, right? Just wait to be told what to do. And there are, better areas to make those executions, and we show you those too. But it's really not that hard. They try and make this very complicated for everyday people. It can be intimidating at first, and it was certainly for me. I went back and took it a second time because I was so overwhelmed with just the vernacular of, I had never been exposed to this before. And that's one of the reasons why I try and do my best to distill it down in an understandable methodology for people to follow, so that you don't have to go through the pain of, learning how to calculate linear regression and all that kind of stuff like we did back in the day.
So Blunt, you're going to be getting a DM from @Cardano556.
Okay.
All right. So kind of easy to remember if you've ever fired a rifle, because it's kind of 556, or just easy to remember because we just remember these numbers. But shout out to you. I think I've seen you here before. Cardano is the future. So I really appreciate all of you guys that have been pulling up. I mean, this is pretty, amazing that we get to do this. Blunt taking time out of his day to give us a lot of this alpha. I mean, share this indicator with a lot of people. And I think as more and more people see the value in it, and just pull up, and even if it sounds like too much, just absorb it. Just trust your mind. I promise you guys, eventually everybody can do this. I'm not nothing special. I got no magic carpet that I, ride into the mountains and do some magic guru stuff. I'm just over here looking at past price, using this data, refining it. I'm not perfect. There's been times that I make errors and stuff like that. You get, you have 2-3 weeks of a hot streak, and you're like, oh, I'm Rain Man, baby. And next thing you know, like, oh no, it's just raining on me. That's it. It's not, I'm not the Rain Man. But go ahead.
The script is private, by the way. So if you look for it on TradingView, you're searching it, it's not going to show up because it's a private script. If you scroll up in this chat that I'm in, Rico, I don't know, is this the YouTube chat? I went up to the very top. I did post a link to it so that you can click that link. Okay, good. And it's an easy sign up. It's $99 a month. And like I said, you'll find it'll pay for itself very quickly just by helping you not make mistakes.
100%.
Like for me, that was the biggest thing, just not screwing up. So I thought I was winning if I wasn't making as many errors.
For sure. It will definitely pay itself off. I know it will. And it will right away. You know what? I wouldn't even think about or be worried about it paying itself off right away. If you can just practice consuming it and understanding information, one of the weeks is just going to be like, bam. And then the money just starts rolling in, and you start building some of that momentum. So I'm also going to show this, since we got a good amount. We got 707 people up in here, wow. Which is crazy. So do want to give you guys this opportunity over here, what we got going on with XPX. You know, the rest of the market has been getting shaken about, and you know, shout out to the XPX team and shout out to the XPX marketing team, which we, you know, assembled like the Avengers and really doing something very generous for this community. You know, at $2 million market cap, doing a 5K giveaway, which is extremely bullish if you guys ask me. And anybody can win this 5K. You know, one entry is $25, 5 entries is for $100. $500 is 30 entries. $1,000 is 70 entries. What's awesome about this at $2 million market cap, we'll be really close to our all-time high at $2 million or $2.7 million market cap. And a lot of times when a project breaks its all-time high, it brings a lot more momentum. And to incentivize that momentum and bring some attention to not just XPX, but also the rest of the Smart DeFi projects, we want the chart to be exciting, that we even got another giveaway of $5,000, 5 winners. So each person will win $1,000 at $5 million market cap. And we got together with some of the whales in XPX because we got a really great community, honestly, that just wants to see us all win. And we decided to do a 10K giveaway at $10 million market cap. So, you know, we got the utility, we got the smart contracts from Smart DeFi. We have amazing utility as XPaysX in itself, you know, letting people off ramp their crypto, letting businesses accept cryptocurrency, letting businesses do payroll and pay their employees with cryptocurrency. But now it's time to kind of bring some hype to the chart, right? A little bit of that FOMO, because let's be honest, that's how we showed them, hey, we have staking and you can make passive income. Hey, we have asset backing, and this is how you can take 30-day interest-free loans from an XPX token in the form of BNB. But sometimes we got to get their attention with pumping the chart, which is crazy, right? So this is what we're going to do together. Come check us out over here on Smart DeFi. We're holding really, really strong. And this is a big shout out to this amazing community. Come over here to smartdefi.com. You see us, we're still holding 1.1, you know, on a regular $1.2 million market cap. Also, come check out the rest of the projects on here. Come check out Noma Token doing RWA efforts in Kenya, in Africa. You got some of the other projects. You got Feg Token itself. I mean, there's a lot of great projects on here that you guys can come and check out and see what they're all about. Of course, you guys know I launched XPX with a really, really amazing team. And I think we got an even better community than team that we have, because they're just amazing. This community is so bullish. And if you guys zoom out, this is a pretty healthy daily chart on a project that's been live for about 16 months. This is around that $2 million market cap. We can break past that kind of level of that resistance, that round number of 2, and just kind of, you know, create some hype to go towards that 5 or this all-time high and then $5 million market cap. Come check us out. Come check out our X account as well. I'll shill it one more time for you guys. If you guys are new to the channel, at XPX token, let me share this for you guys. Massive giveaways. And I'm actually going to shill a couple more things, because we have Zach Humphrey's brand that just got recently listed on Just Shop Crypto, which is super bullish. If you guys want to win up to $50 worth of XPX tokens simply to celebrate the launch of the XPaysX powered Just Shop Crypto, Zach Humphrey's brand being listed, come over here, place an order, get some Zach Humphrey's brand, tag him, right? You're like, hey, Rico, that's cool. I love Zach Humphreys, but you know what? I want to be in the festive kind of mood. Well, we got some spooky drip for you guys as well. You know, so come check this out. This is a collaborative effort, of course, with XPX and the Can Do Chats, which some of the merch that I got on right now, got some Can Do merch on right here. So this is what we've been doing with Just Shop Crypto, you know, making sure that we're breaking out of our echo chamber, not by ourselves, but with other communities, providing some value through some giveaways, some positive initiatives in the space, whether it's through, you know, some spooky drip, the listing of Zach Humphreys, the future projects that are going to list, the giveaways through Vet Token, the giveaways through XPX. It's all here to make sure that we can make some noise together. Blunt, we're rolling over to this amazing 2-hour mark. I want to respect your time, and I'm sure everybody had a really great time hanging out with you. If there's anything else that you want to cover or tell this amazing community before we wrap this up, I guess right now should probably be the time. I think we knocked it out the park, bro.
Well, listen, I'm really happy to see everybody stroll in like this. So I don't get this kind of viewership normally, so this is a treat. I guess I got to be attached myself to you, but
that's fine with me.
Yeah. But no, I'm really happy that you all stopped in, and again, you know, we're doing this because, or I'm doing this because I've always felt that isn't a lot of reliable outlets to help either new people or people that are existing traders that maybe, want to learn some different skills. And, I'm happy to do this. My mentor gave me, when I drove him to the airport the last time I saw him, and he gave me, as a thank you, his whole deck in all of his CDs, when we still use those kind of things, on all of his content. Right, that was a long, long time ago. And he said, you know what, just pay it forward. Like, just, do good with it, help people. And that's basically what we're trying to do, is just keep you from being victimized by what happens with price on a chart. Just because you simply didn't know. We're going to change that and give you the tools so that you don't get hit by stuff you didn't see coming. We'll look at the Cardano chart just quickly.
Absolutely.
Because it's another where you can see, here's your daily sell signal that came on Thursday, right? So you actually had a sell signal appear on Thursday, the day before the big dump. But this is how I like to utilize the script indicator, because everything I do is based on fractals. So, here's our daily chart. That's what we'd be looking at. Okay, there's our daily chart. But what's our 4-hour chart tell us? Because whatever you're charting or you want to trade, I suggest you have a handful of things, no more, no less. And you're going to be looking at them on multiple time frames. Okay, so here's the big impulse down. But if you really wanted to be in the trade early, you would have been in and on it on Tuesday, 2 days before it happened. 3 days before it happened, almost. This is why we use fractal analysis. This is a really good chart to demonstrate it on, right? Even though it looked on the daily like, hey, you got a sell signal before the dump. Congratulations. Actually, we were told to get out 2 or 3 days before that.
Right.
And that is the edge
that
traders need, right? And if you're not looking at multiple time frames, you will get hit by something you didn't see coming sooner or later. It's just like looking in your rear view and your side view mirrors. That's what it's giving you the ability to do. This is very effective for those that like to trade futures. Use the last few days have been just a nightmare, but I mean, you can see how you'll get on the 4-hour. I actually dial it back to futures on the 1 hour, but you'll see that you get real clear signals up or down on what the market wants to do. And quite often they come in the middle of the night. Like, here's one that shows up at 4 a.m., right? A little bit toppy here in the earlier, but there's your signal at 4 a.m. to be short. Where did the market open? The market opened here, right? Half the move is already gone, right? So by the time the market opens, what you're getting the impulse down of a move that's already materialized. And how do we make sure that we're in the right place at the right time? Use the alerts on TradingView. TradingView is an excellent platform. Use the alerts. So for example, just right click on your screen, add an alert. Make it as simple as where it says condition, I'm just going to change it to EMA 5 crossing EMA 8. Simple. Right? It's within the script, there's several parameters that trigger it. One of them is this cross, obviously, but there's others in the background. But this will at least get me at the right place at the right time. If it's in the middle of the night, or if you're not following, not chart watching. That's basically what I do. And you can set it on whatever time frame you want. Choose the 1 hour, how many times it fires off, and how long you want to keep it in play for, and then just hit create. And then you'll get a notification, either in your system, an email, a text message, that parameter has triggered. And then at least it gets you to the place where, like, this is midnight. It would have actually happened here. You probably would have gotten a notification, just as an example, at 11 p.m. at night. So you would have got a notification, hey, X has crossed over Y. And then it would just trigger you to look at your chart, and you're going to go, hey, wow, ball game's over. That looks like a short, right? Boom. There you go. That's how you get at the right place at the right time.
100%. I've been using those alerts, and they're very powerful. Because a lot of times, what happens is when you're chart watching, like you called it just a little while ago, that was funny. You start to get impatient, and you start selling yourself a little dream. You start saying, you know what? Actually, you lick your finger. You're like, I see the wind's blowing this way, maybe because the wind's blowing this way. It's like, you know what? It's probably better to just get some things done. Set some of these alerts.
Yep.
Go do some of your normal day routine stuff. And if you can set it up, like you said, and this is something I've been doing, set it up to get an email, set up where you can set up where you get a message on your phone. TradingView gives you the option where like you can say, hey, I'm not going to make a move. Let me practice how not to make a move until I see a move on a higher time frame. Mm-hmm. But it's too hard for me to sit there for 4 hours, to wait for one sell signal or buy signal on the hourly chart. Let me just set a signal on an alert that'll give me that that notification. So like that, hey, I'm just gonna take care of my normal day routine, and then when I get that, I'll jump on there, set up my strategy. I'm looking for my entry, set my entry, boom, and then you can take that trade like that.
This is the NASDAQ 100 weekly chart. You would have entered somewhere in here in April, and this is October, 7 months later, and you had no reason to sell. The divergence has stayed open, which is telling you, again, we look at it from, an already played out move, but, that's what you'd be looking at. Price just keeps climbing up, holding those levels. There's no reason to be out of the trade. Even with last week's volatility, it only took us back to close right at the T line. And this week's candle, believe it or not, gives us those 2 equal bottoms. And here we are eating up, at least at this stage of the week, the previous week's candle. That's bullish. So like, I don't know when this ends, but when it unwinds, it's going to be ugly. That's all I know.
That's what he's going to leave us with, fam. Don't let it unwind.
And just don't get freaked out. Like, I hope today that you've been able to see that there is a little bit of rhyme and reason of how price moves and things like that. And once you understand that a little bit, you're less terrified when things pull back. So we're still in a downtrend, and, I'm sure you can all quite easily now just throw a 5 EMA and an 8 EMA on your chart and, have a guideline to work with so that you're not all over the place looking at the chart, wondering what's happening.
So. For sure. Let me go ahead and show your page one more time, because if you guys want to consume a little bit more of this information tomorrow on what we're talking about right here, even what he gave away, if you can put on the 5 EMA and put on the 8 EMA, you're pretty good. That'll start giving you kind of that, there's some of these indicators give you some options where you can add some of these moving averages. But tomorrow is where I want you guys to pull up to the FEG token chat, like that. You guys will not miss out on this information. Just keep letting yourself consume this. Like, just go through the ebb and flow. And like, honestly, the other day, I think it's a perfect example that was so bullish, because we were talking about this on the FEG token chat, one of the live streams, this right here, before this actually happened. And then, days later, while I'm live streaming, Blunt jumps into the chat. He's in the chat. He's like, Rico, go to the main page, pull up what we were talking about. And sure enough, like, this is what I want you guys to be able to consume, that it could take a couple days for you guys to be able to get all this information. So don't beat yourself up. Say, whoa, this is too much for me today. Look, it takes a few days to see where, on right here, we got the 1 hour print to sell signal. Then we're waiting for the 4 hour. Then we're waiting for the daily. But this took some time. So give yourself a little bit of this time, because then this is when we get to show you the update like this, right? This took some time for us to see this. So you got to give yourself that time to be able to consume this information. I want you guys, again, like I said, pull up tomorrow to the FEG token chat where Blunt is going to be hosting. Again, one of these technical analysis sessions. They're amazing sessions, and it's something that happens in real time, something that you guys can check the receipts. I think this is another great example of, hey, we were talking about something, looking at these sell signals, looking how, you know, they can fill some of these gaps, right? If they fell into these gaps, how fast they can move. And that's exactly what we're having. So if you guys want to have a little bit of this, you know, information where it starts to almost look like you're predicting some stuff, but really you're just following the treasure map, make sure you guys give Blunt a follow as well at Blunt 420. Blunt, any last words for this amazing community before we wrap this up? And
you know what, it actually
day, right?
seems, to what you said about the predictive part, it does feel predictive, right? And I'm very careful when I talk about,
Right.
you know, predicting price and things like that. I don't think that's exactly what I'm doing. But a week ago, a friend of mine he teaches an executive MBA course, and every year he has me come in and speak to his data analytics group, because technical analysis is the origins of data analytics, you know, created by Japanese rice traders over 350 years ago. They were the first ones to be able to measure price and understand that what they were measuring in the form of candlesticks actually meant something. And what I talked to them about was no different than what we talked about in here today, regardless of the fact that they're in an MBA program. I spoke to them exactly the same way as I talked to you, and most of them were even more confused, right? So it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. This is going to feel awkward at first, but once you get comfortable kind of getting used to the ebb and flow of how price moves, it's going to be very easy to pick up. And you're going to be able to prevent yourself from getting hit real hard in days like, you know, Friday. There are things out there that you can use, like we've showed you today, that can, using fractal analysis, allow you to see what may be coming on those longer time frames, like the daily, just by using an hourly and a 4-hour chart. So, but I thank you all for coming in. It's been great.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Everybody, this chat, you guys really made it happen. Honestly, me and Blunt really didn't do too much. I wish we could take the credit, but it wouldn't even feel right. I mean, this amazing community in the chat, the way you guys share this live stream, the way you guys got the likes up, that max engagement is how we can get this information out there, how we can do these giveaways. So I truly, really appreciate it. Like I said, YouTube doesn't pay any bills. We're doing this because we love to do this. We want to share this information. I personally want to continue to refine myself. I know that steel sharpens steel. So, you know, this is that opportunity that we get to have and just be like, hey, how can we have open dialogue? How can we talk together as within our respective communities, whether it's the exact project that you're in or the YouTube channel that you guys love to watch? This is what we're supposed to be doing together to continue to sharpen this as much as we can. And it's okay to you know, say, hey, I don't understand it all, right? I'm trying to get to that point where we get to, you know, say that I understand it a lot better. And this is where it happens right here. So Blunt, thank you so much for pulling up and giving the channel this dynamic shift. You know, I look forward to these Wednesdays. It's really nice to not only be always about meme coins, but giving somebody like something like you said that I really appreciate is like, you know, the information that nobody can take away, you know, whether it's your meme coin getting rocked or the crypto markets getting thrown around up and down. You guys can use this information. It's yours. Whether green market, red market, you guys can monetize the chart. Thank you so much, Blunt, for pulling up.
Well, we'll do it again. Let's make sure we do it again.
For sure. So to the 725 listeners, thank you guys so much for pulling up to the stream. And those who are listening later on, make sure that you guys go follow Blunt, give this channel a follow. We're going to be doing more giveaways and doing more things for you guys because you guys help us stay sharp as well. The more we, you know, keep talking about this helps us stay sharp in this space. So much love and respect to all of you guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And if you can't do that, keep coming back, experiencing the abundance of money with us. Until next time, you guys know what it is. Later, fam.
Take care.